Dr. Scott Herriott, Provost and Professor for Management, former Dean, College of Business Administration, Maharishi University of Management, United States of America.
Thank you, Dr. Karad, honored members of the dais, guests and friends. I would like to begin by thanking Dr. Karad and the MIT World Peace University for their leadership in organizing this fifth World Parliament of Science, Religion, and Philosophy. The topic of today's session is the promotion of a universal education system based on an appropriate understanding of science and spirituality. My topic is the science and technology of consciousness. The science of consciousness is clearly presented in the 6th verse of the Mandukya Upanishad. The Mandukya Upanishad opens with an introduction and then in 3 verses describes the 3 relative states of consciousness: waking, dreaming, and sleeping. After a transitional verse, the 6th verse reads, Shivam, Shantam, Advaitam, Chaturtam Manyante, Sa Atma Savigyeha. Let's look at this verse to understand the science of consciousness. Shivam, infinite silence. Shantam, infinite peace. Advaitam, non-duality. Chaturtam Manyante, said to be the fourth. Fourth what? Fourth state of consciousness. Sa Atma, that is the self. Savigyeha, that is to be known. This fourth state of consciousness is transcendental to all perception and thought. It is infinite silence. It is non-dual. There is no subject-object duality, no duality of knower and known. It is a state in which the knower is awake within himself. Yet the last expression says, savigyeha, that is to be known. Most interesting for this conference is the last word, vigyeha. It signifies that this knowledge is vigyan. It is scientific knowledge. So the Mandukya Upanishad presents this knowledge of the fourth state of consciousness as scientific knowledge. But how is it possible that pure silence, pure unity, pure abstraction can be known scientifically? How can one know what many scholars of epistemology, of the philosophy of knowledge, would say is inherently unknowable? This, I would say, is the fundamental question at the intersection of science and spirituality. The question is made all the more important by the recognition by ancient philosophers and modern physicists that there may be a unity at the basis of human experience in consciousness and at the basis of the objective world. The great Maharashtrian saint, Sri Gyaneshwara, said, "The universe is nothing but pure consciousness and intelligence." And the great quantum physicist of this century, John Hagelin, the co-discoverer of the flipped SU5 theory of grand unification, describes his work with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, finding deep parallels between the Vedic description of pure consciousness and the contemporary descriptions of a unified state of all force and matter fields. So the answer to this fundamental question, how this fourth state of pure silence, pure unity, pure abstraction can be known, the answer is possible only through the use of a technology to experience this fourth state directly. Science always relies on technology to deliver experiential data, the experience that validates understanding. So what kind of technology can give the experience of pure silence, pure unity, pure abstraction? It is a technology of consciousness that comprises the full range of consciousness, from the most objective, expressed experience of thought and perception to the most subtle, abstract experience of the self, of transcendental consciousness, in which the knower is awake within himself. The scholar who brought out the knowledge most clearly about this technology of consciousness in the past century is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. He is known for teaching transcendental meditation, Bhavati Dhyan. Maharishi's contribution to psychology was to bring out the principle of effortlessness, by which the mind can transcend thought in a spontaneous and natural manner. Maharishi elucidated the principles of mind-body interaction that govern the experiences during transcendental meditation and govern the experience of the development of consciousness as a living daily experience, unfolding the experience of enlightenment. Maharishi's technology was the transcendental meditation technique. His consciousness-based education is universal education. It is based on a scientific understanding of how the human nervous system functions, and it is validated by more than 400 peer-reviewed scientific journals in the literature over the past 50 years. This consciousness-based education is a complete system of education. It does not just focus on the objective knowledge, it develops the subject, the knower, and develops the process of knowing. If we think of the student as a container of knowledge, then modern education seeks to fill the container. But what if education could expand the container of knowledge? That would be a complete system of education. Modern education calls itself successful when it can provide the student with a job to put food on the table. But I ask you, is this all we want from education? Education for food? A complete and universal system of education will be much more than that. It will be education for enlightenment. Education for enlightenment is consciousness-based education because it directly cultivates the creative intelligence of the student. Pure creative intelligence, the source of thought deep within the mind, is that silence, peace, non-duality, the consciousness, the self of the student. So, in one stroke, education can develop enlightenment in the individual and cultivate the student's ability for success in action and achievement in life. This is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's vision of a complete and universal system of education. It is based on our emerging scientific understanding about mind, body, and consciousness. At its core is the student's practice of the transcendental meditation technique, the technology of consciousness, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. Only this one thing needs to be added: the direct experience of transcendental consciousness, the fourth state of consciousness that the Mandukya Upanishad says must be known. This is through the daily practice of transcendental meditation. Add to that the study of all the disciplines found at any university, sciences, social sciences, arts and humanities, and you get an educational system that promotes 200% of life, 100% achievement of spiritual values, and 100% achievement of success in the world. That should be our goal as educators, to give our students this complete and universal system of education. It is through this science and technology of consciousness that India can truly be the teacher to the world, Vishwaguru, and bring the world to a state of peace and prosperity. Thank you all very much.